very much for being here today. I'm Deb Miller. I'm the Secretary at the Kansas Department of Transportation. What I want to do today is give you an update on the directives that Governor Brownback gave me last week in the aftermath of the tragic crash on K-10 on April 16th, and then give you a chance to ask questions. With me today is Deputy Secretary for Engineering Jerry Younger. Jerry is also our State Transportation Engineer. He'll have a statement after I'm done, and then he will also be available to answer your questions. Before I update you on the governor's directives, I want to express my condolences to the families, friends, and Eudora community that lost 2 young people in the crash. My heart goes out to the families of Kanan Shutt and Ryan Pittman. I am so very sorry for the anguish that you're experiencing. Safety is at the core of everything that we do at KDOT, and every day we strive to make the best decisions based on the best information and the practices that we can draw on to make travel safe for all Kansans as well as the many others who travel in our state, and we will continue to operate that way. Last week, as I think you know, Governor Brownback asked me to take certain steps in the wake of the crash, and I welcome the governor's involvement. First, the governor asked me to contact the Eudora mayor for a discussion of his concerns. Through the Eudora city administrator, we have made arrangements for a discussion not only with Eudora mayor, but with representatives from DeSoto, Lawrence, Douglas County, and the sheriff's office. That meeting will be on May 12th, and the details are still being worked out. Second, the governor asked that we form a local group, as we have in the past, to help provide input into the decision-making process. The makeup of that group will be discussed at the meeting with the cities. He also asked that we expedite a project that we plan for next season to improve the inside shoulders on the Douglas County section of K-10. The project will include 10-foot shoulders to the outside lane and 6-foot shoulders to the inside lane of K-12 with rumble strips from Lawrence east to Johnson County, which already has this treatment. Currently, this section has 3-foot asphalt shoulders on the inside and outside lanes with an additional 7 feet of crushed rock on the outside lane. These are very important enhancements to the road, and I believe will broadly improve safety on the K-10 corridor. We expect this project to be ready to be built this summer. Finally, the governor asked me to update the previous study on cable median barriers on this section of K-10 and utilize the local committee already mentioned to help in the review. We will soon be conducting that review a year earlier than originally planned. Before I turn this over to Deputy Secretary Younger, I want to make one other thing clear. Cable barriers are not benign. They don't solve all the problems and can, in some situations, create problems. So our deliberations must center on whether they provide more benefits or create more liabilities. The question isn't, do we have the money? The question is this the right strategy? With that, I'd like to ask Secretary Younger, Deputy Secretary Younger, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Secretary Miller, and I too am sorry for the loss that occurred on K-10. At KDOT, we're well aware of the success the cable median barriers have provided in other states. In Kansas, we're blessed on our divided highways to have broad, gently sloping medians that allow the vast majority of drivers to recover control without injury or damage. But we know that not all our roads are equal in that regard. Following a series of crossover median accidents a few years back, we enlisted the help of Dr. Dean Sicking at the University of Nebraska, one of the world's leading experts on roadside safety, to help us develop a policy for use of cable median barriers in Kansas. Based on Dr. Sicking's policy, we implemented that and ultimately selected projects to install cable median barrier on, one near Topeka and one near Wichita. The Topeka project is underway, under construction right now. The project in Wichita is soon to be under construction within the next month. But I do want to reiterate the Secretary's point. Cable median barrier is not a silver bullet. And also want to repeat our decision that whether or not to install cable barriers is not just about costs. We must consider that cable barriers there'll be more crashes, there'll be more injuries, and there'll be more damage just by virtue of having an obstacle in the median. We also know that they aren't designed to stop a large truck. We also know that motorcyclists have very real concerns about them. And we also know that in some cases they create a delay for the first responders getting to the scene of a crash in those crucial minutes following an accident. Those were some of the same factors that Dr. Sicking considered when he developed our policy for helping make decisions about where cable median barriers would do the most good and result in the fewest negatives. Again, as the Secretary said, our plan is to enlist a team, community representatives, to help us understand better the thoughts and prevailing concerns about our current policy, and look at the current methodology we go through to determine if cable median barriers are the right treatment for a given roadway. After that effort is done and whatever changes are made to the policy that come out of that, once again, we'll look at the entire roadway system as a whole in Kansas and look for those areas that make the most sense, that the smartest location to put up cable median barrier. Thank you for being here today. Secretary Miller and I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Secretary Miller.